happening? Hundar here. I'm with my friends from Snowblind Studios. Ruth, we're going to take a look at War in the North. Probably the best way I could end the first day of E3 possible. What are we going to take a look at today?
We're going to show our new combat level, Fornost. We're going to run through, we're trying to get to the central citadel, so we're working our way up through the city.
Okay. This is my first look at the game as far as like hands-on demo, so I'm pretty excited.
Nice.
We've got 2 people playing throughout this demo?
Yeah, and so the third player is controlled by the AI, so if you just have 1 or 2 players, then the other characters will be taken over by the AI.
So is the dwarf a computer right now?
The human is the ranger. You'll see him in the background.
Okay.
I think he's wearing green. Yeah,
okay.
There he is. So the elf and the dwarf, all 3 characters are really powerful in melee, but they're all powerful in pretty different ways.
Okay.
It looks like we'll get into some melee combat up here. So the elf, because she's wearing a little bit less armor, she's less defensive than the other characters. She's got a lot of push-back abilities. She can kind of crowd control, get enemies away from her.
Okay.
But she's got some pretty powerful moves. You'll notice she's wielding a staff and a sword.
Yeah.
So she can dual wield, which gives her a lot more damage. She's also got the shield that protects the party from ranged attacks.
Yeah.
So you see that they're not being hit by that ballista.
I was going to say, she seems very confident right off the bat.
Oh, she's totally awesome. I mean, she's been fighting goblins for centuries, so she pretty much knows what she's doing. She's from Rivendell, and she's one of Elrond's agents who goes out into the world, finds stuff out for him.
Okay.
So she's really experienced and very competent.
Right.
Yeah.
From a time perspective, for those that aren't aware, when is this game taking place in the...
It takes place at the same time as the trilogy, the films and the books, so it's during the War of the Ring.
Okay.
It's a new story that travels to the north, but they're basically have the same goal as Frodo and the Fellowship.
Okay.
You'll see here they're fighting some goblin bombers, so there's like these goblins with bombs strapped to their backs that run up and blow up next to you, so you gotta do ranged attacks on them when they're still pretty far away, or they'll totally knock you down.
Okay.
But yeah, it's during the same time, they're traveling to the north. Aragorn has sent them up to Fornost to investigate what's going on, because he thinks there's some armies gathering up there. And even in the books, Gandalf says that if the North had fallen, then even destroying the ring wouldn't have defeated Sauron. He still would have won. So this is actually a really important quest. It's just, sort of a different battle in the same war.
Okay. In terms of general combat here, how important is coordination? I know that's something that seems like it's being stressed a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of the characters' abilities work together. So you saw the shield that the elf cast in the beginning. The human has some skills where he can upgrade the entire party's headshots. So they each have things that they can do to help the entire fellowship. And then also there's certain things like critical attacks. If 2 players do a critical attack at the same time, they'll get a lot more XP, do tons more damage.
Yeah.
So, coordinating attacks is important.
An orc will just explode into pink mist, effectively.
Yeah, you don't want to hit bombs, actually. That's probably a bad idea. So the human bot is going to come and res them, so that's a good thing that they have an AI player with them right now. We'll take out those orcs first. Yeah, if one of your party members falls, then you have to resurrect them, or your whole party will get defeated and have to start over at a checkpoint.
But any of the 3 can do that? They can come to the aid of...
So you'll see that, the ranger is helping resurrect the dwarf is helping resurrect the elf right now. So yeah, it's important to keep your party members up and to kind of keep an eye on each other.
Are people locked into sort of traditional, like, oh, I'm always going to be the tank charging in, or is there more freedom to sort of play up with those roles in this?
Yeah, the 3 characters kind of have their role in the Fellowship, but you can spec them in pretty different ways. So the elf, you can spec her more to be a battle mage. Again, she's really strong in melee.
Right.
You can do more support stuff with her. You can do more range stuff with her. So they all kind of have 3 basic paths that you can standardize, or you can customize them.
Okay.
And then obviously the loot. I mean, you've seen them picking up loot. Yeah, here's the inventory. So they've got tons of loot. We've got thousands of loot items. We've got sets, slotting, all kinds of stuff. You can really build your character with the loot specifically towards the path you want to take with them.
Okay. How important is managing your inventory through this? Are you going to have to be destroying things, not having room for stuff? Is that an issue?
It's more, you can sell off the stuff that you don't want. It's more about finding upgrades. If you have something you don't need, like if you're the dwarf and you find a staff, you can give it to the elf.
Okay.
And even if the elf's controlled by a bot, they'll use it. So if you find a really awesome staff and can't use it, you can hand it to the bot. So
is there competition between 2 people that are playing cooperatively, where oh, I want that sword, I'm not going to give it to you, or is that...
It's more, each party member finds their own loot, so you don't have to worry about stealing loot from each other, but if you find something you can't use, it's definitely in your best interest to give it to your party members so they're stronger.
Right.
You want them to be good too. So
Achievement unlocked.
Yeah, he's building up a combo. If you get a critical attack on an enemy, you'll go into this hero mode where you do more severs, you get more XP, your attacks are all more powerful, and you build up your combo meter. If you get hit or you let enough time pass and you get knocked out of it.
Okay. And you mentioned selling gear too. Does that mean there's NPCs you'll be encountering regularly, or is that?
Yeah, we have normal towns that you go to. Bree is the first town that you go to in the game, and everyone's pretty familiar with it. And there's blacksmiths there that can repair your equipment that's damaged. You can sell and buy. Anything that there's periods in the game where you can find a little shop out in the world, sort of like an obelisk, that you can sell your stuff.
It's not like going into Mordor where it's like Who do I sell to? The Spider Queen? Or
Yeah, exactly. It's where you can travel back to town and sell stuff, yeah. You can also upgrade gear. If you go to a blacksmith, you can pay them to upgrade something. So if you really like the look of a helmet that you have, but you've out-leveled it, you can go to a blacksmith, pay him, and he'll upgrade it to fit your level if you have something that you're really attached to.
Okay.
You can see the elf is gathering some plants. Because she's an herbalist, she's got some herb lore, so she can combine those plants into like health potions and other kinds of buff items. And the other characters can't do that. So they each kind of have their own like special thing.
So they've got built-in professions to who they are?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the ranger can find like secret stashes that other rangers have left.
Did you say that they can enhance armor with one of those professions? Is that one of the...
The slotting anybody can do.
Okay.
So you find slottable items in the world and you can combine them. Okay. It looks like they're leveled up. So as soon as they've looted this stuff, let's look at the level up screen real quick. So these are your stats. You can normally you can spend stats and customize your character more toward melee or range or whichever.
Okay.
And then the skill tree. So each of the 3 characters has a unique skill tree. And as you can see, they're kind of divided into 3 sections. So this is sort of the melee. Melee is the core of the combat. So each of the characters has a lot of melee options. They're very strong in melee, but in different ways. This is her sort of support tree.
Okay.
And then this is more of her ranged kind of blasting tree.
Okay. So where does that make sense with like a battle mage where it's like you got the option of the sword? What are the ranger's options and the dwarf's options?
The ranger, he can do a lot of damage to single targets. He's also got kind of an assassination tree where he's got skills where he can go invisible, come around behind guys and take out high value targets.
Gotcha.
And then he's got some sniping stuff, so he gets really good headshots. He's got like these focus range shots.
Cool.
So his range stuff is stronger than the other 2. The dwarf has some tanky stuff, and then he's got a little bit of support and ranged abilities as well. And then, of course, his melee, he tends to be more area of effect. So this is an example of a cutscene where we're going to show some characters that were in the books but weren't in the films.
Okay.
So these are Elrond's twin sons, Elladan and Elrohir. And they're like these 1,000-year-old, elf badass warriors that have been killing goblins for centuries. And they've been fighting with you on and off through Fornost. So at this point, they're investigating this door, which they think is going to lead to the citadel that you've been trying to get to all this time. And it looks like it's warded. So they're going to try to break through this magic ward while you defend them.
Okay.
So there's a variety of missions in the game. So this is an example of a defense mission. These guys are going to be breaking down the door, and you've got to make sure they don't get hit.
Okay. So within every setting, you're going to encounter a variety of like sort of quests within the main objective of whatever that thing is.
And there's side quests as well. In Fornost, you'll find items that unlock side quests that you can go do, or an item that you need to take to an NPC and show them.
How linear are the maps in regards to that sort of thing? Is it?
It's a lot like Snowblind's previous action RPGs, so it's kind of a hub-based, with spokes. The story kind of does drive you forward, but you can always go back and do side quests. You can play through levels multiple times to find new, secrets. For example, like there are some secrets that only the dwarf can unlock. So if you play through a level as the ranger, you might want to go through it again as the dwarf to find everything in the level.
Okay.
So you can see Elladan over here working on the door back there. They're trying to kill these goblins. So one of our big, awesome reveals at E3 is that Belaram, the Great Eagle, isn't just an NPC. He's also like a hammer. You can call him during combat when you need help, and he will come down and just eat whatever it is that you need to destroy.
The true eagle of death metal, Belaram.
Basically, yeah.
So how does that work in terms of, are there specific situations you call him down, or is it just...
Basically, if you're having trouble with something, he's really great against mini-bosses, but we should call him against these orcs and see what happens. We should call Belaram. At some point, okay. We're working on it. So basically, you have like a number of charges you can use. There he is.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so you just swoop in, grab that guy, and it's going to probably drop him against the wall. So sometimes it comes down and bites their head off. It's like pretty awesome. It's very effective.
Does he come down for like one attack at a time? Does he do a little bit of combat and fly off?
With weaker guys, he'll kind of attack a group. With stronger guys, he'll tend to pick his target, and he'll usually pick the guy that's the biggest threat to you. You have a limited number of times you can call him. And also there's a cooldown on it.
Is that limited just to indoors, or is that, just outdoor areas?
Outdoors where you can see, yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to throw back to the live stream. I'm definitely excited. You guys have probably the coolest booth here with that full orchestra that's playing right now, all the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Ridiculous. All right, guys. Throwing it back to you.